Sam Raimi might be best known for his work directing multiple big Marvel movies to the masses, but us horror fans will always know him for The Evil Dead, one of the most influential horror series of the 80s and 90s. This summer is all about him. Tonight, on Survive the Night podcast, we revisit the origins of this legend with his first movies, It's Murder and Within the Woods. All right, we're here with the revival of horror talking, I guess. I don't know. It seems like this shit is always doomed anytime I try to start it up. And I kind of get why. It's hard to find people to do deep dives with you about anything, let alone stuff that like only a certain population like. But yeah,
it's a commitment.
But I think this is a good time to do one that I've been interested in doing for a while now, mainly because Multiverse of Madness has come out, which is Sam Raimi's kind of big foray into doing an MCU movie again. He has there's another Evil Dead movie coming out this year at some point, and like I kind of wanted to do a follow-up rewatch of all that stuff anyways, up to that. So what better time than what I am lovingly calling the summer of Sam Raimi in parentheses.
Oh, that's good.
Not that terrible 1999 movie, that crime thriller that kind of didn't do anything except have Adrian Brody with spiky hair. So I guess that was a thing, wearing a Union Jack t-shirt.
Great.
That was a weird movie. But
unlike what we have to talk about today, just normal shit here.
Yeah. So I have a small itinerary. I'm not going to go through it here because it doesn't matter. Like, they'll be coming out in good time. But basically, we're going to do Sam Raimi's horror filmography, primarily the movies that he wrote and directed, not just directed, because, I mean, that's his job. Like, the ones he writes and directs are the ones that are like his brainchild. The ones that he directs like for the love of the game were a paycheck. That doesn't count. So like we're not necessarily going to talk about Multiverse of Madness here because again, paycheck, even though he did some cool stuff in there. Not really the Spider-Man stuff either, even though Spider-Man 2, the Doc Ock transformation scene is so Raimi, it hurts.
Yeah.
There's some crazy shit in there. This is primarily going to be Evil Dead stuff and Evil Dead adjacent stuff, including the remake, which was only produced by him, maybe executive produced by him, but wasn't written or directed by him, but is part of the series as canon in its own way, which we'll get to when we get to that. But as all stories do, this one starts in 1977 with a short college movie by Sam Raimi and friends who appear basically in everything he does at some point, called It's Murder. Boy. First of all, this is weird timing, all right? This thing is impossible to find, and it was uploaded to YouTube 2 weeks ago. Yeah. There is a terrible version of this that you can watch, and it's, as far as I could tell, it's the only easy way to watch it on YouTube, and I think Dailymotion also has a copy of it as well. It was captured with a free recording software, so you get this trial version, head to vid.com or some dumb shit pop up in the middle of the screen periodically.
And like part of the film repeats.
The film repeats randomly. That might be because it's Super 8 and he would have had to connect the film himself, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell. So this is a Super 8 film that he did with the crew or whatever in 1977. The first
but I also wonder if that was like whatever that free software is only had like a limit, and then eventually those were stitched together afterwards.
Stitched together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking something similar too, actually. It is in 240p, so even on a like 1990 VHS, it would have looked bad. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what's happening sometimes.
It's hard to tell what's happening. It's hard to watch. But I will say, I've had a surprisingly fun time with it, honestly.
Yeah, it's funny. It's way better than the average student film, for sure.
Yeah. You definitely can tell he is a fan of the Three Stooges here.
Oh, yeah.
Die-hard fan. So much slapstick. The amount of puns is what I would consider uncomfortably too many. There are too many puns at all times.
I mean,
and like none of them, some aren't natural either.
No.
Like,
but like that's the thing that keeps it watchable at all. It's just like constant
the comedy.
Jokes. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. It's Murder is a movie shot on Super 8 film, and it has all the people you would expect. It has Sam Raimi himself as like the main character, with Scott Spiegel as the other main character. Bruce Campbell is in there as a small cameo at the end as a dumb police officer on a bike who has one of the funnier parts in the movie, frankly. His brother is in there as
Ted
just
Raimi's
this like
part
dumb
is
kid.
his fucking smile, his demonic too big grin. Honestly, the most memorable visual in the movie. That fucking terrifying 12-year-old.
Absolutely. Also, surprisingly and secretly, the best first instance of a adaptation of the Joker on screen. As Sam Raimi plays this weird character named Uncle Jasper, who is supposed to be kind of like Uncle Fester, is kind of the takeaway I'm getting. He's supposed to be this weird, pale, almost undead-like creature of a human. And it's odd. He has so many mannerisms I would call Joker-esque in like a cringe compilation. I think that's the best way I could describe.
Now, you sure you're thinking of him and not his twin brother?
Well, we'll get to that. It is confusing, but it is an important plot line for sure.
What a joke.
That whole setup is so fucking stupid. So this movie is about, there is a death in the family and then a subsequent murder. The death in the family leaves a certain amount of money to somebody, to one of the kids or whatever, and that brother gets murdered, and there is an investigation going on, and it's all about the investigator trying to figure out who murdered the brother or whatever before he gets murdered by sleeping in their house at like overnight at some point. And then there's a giant car chase scene, which is about half the movie in length by itself and terrible looking.
Music from Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Yeah, it has the Psycho theme for about 15 minutes. I'm assuming that's part of the reason why there's no official release of this ever on something, because I'm pretty sure they would be legally fucked.
Yeah, it plays the music from North by Northwest, then goes to Psycho, then goes back to North by Northwest, I think, over the course of that whole chase.
Oh, in the same... Oh, you might be right. It does change up a little bit.
Both songs are by the same composer, so they have a similar sound, but I could pick them out.
Yeah, no, you could be right. Man, what? So, my big problem with this, just to begin with, is the fact that it's unwatchable in this format.
Yeah.
If this was on DVD, actually, spoiler alert, this is a 2-parter episode right off the get-go with there's a short film we're going to be talking about called Within the Woods. If it was even in that quality that I watched that in, totally fine. I'm down with that. This is like, I think I've seen snuff films with higher quality online than this thing. It is so hard to make anything out, especially since the first like half an hour of the movie takes place in somebody's house without proper lighting or anything. So some of the characters are just obscured by shadow the whole time that they're in the scene.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know.
Other than like historical curiosity, there's no
redeeming quality.
There's nothing
honestly
to watch here except if you're like a Sam Raimi super fan and you just need to know.
Yeah. I think if this was on DVD or like honestly even a VHS, it would be worth checking out, like a decent quality of this.
I've certainly seen worse movies.
Yeah, it has some legitimately funny parts. Like one of them, the dude is cleaning the chandelier with a knife because he wanted it to look sharp. Like shit like this, of this caliber. And to say it is an assault of puns would be underplaying the machine gun like quality in which these puns are shot at you for an hour.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Okay. There's nothing to talk about here besides like just saying some of our favorite jokes and stuff, and I'll go first here. I really like that he's showing the inspector his dead wives, which is him with different hats on, like women's hats. And they all died by eating poison mushrooms, except the last one, who died of concussion for failing to eat the poison mushroom.
Because she wouldn't eat the poison mushroom.
And then when they sit down for tea, he offers poison mushrooms, and he's like, just like casually, like, poison mushroom? And they're like, the dude's like, no. He turns his head and he just puts in every single like drug he has for like a minute straight in his coffee or his tea or whatever. And that shit I found hilarious. I was like busting a gut, honestly.
He goes to stir it and his spoon dissolves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really
like
good.
and like when he turns around, he's like, I see what you did there. You took my spoon.
Yeah. Even like back then in college and stuff, really good comedic timing for some of this stuff. It's so classic stooge slapstick comedy. It's very, very good. It's honestly really, really funny. It's just too bad that it's in a format that's unwatchable. Do you have any? Oh, they were playing tennis and he has like a tennis bomb ball that he, for some reason, that he gives him, and then he hits it back to him and he just like explodes. The fact that he gets up from his wheelchair to answer the door, then like just sits back down, and there's like a conversation about like, I just saw you, or I just watched you get up. And it's like, do you usually watch people? I don't know. There's something about how this is written that it is so silly. It's just an assault of jokes. And at first it isn't funny until it breaks your wall down with the cannonball of jokes it's throwing at you. And then they just like get in somehow. It's weird.
Yeah. I want to talk about just some of the shot stuff I liked. Like there's,
yeah, no, this is the start of that stuff too, for sure.
There's like one scene where Raimi's character, Uncle Jesper's, like comes in off the side with a knife, and he's just like wheeling in. You just see the knife like zoom across the screen, and then it like lands on a piece of wood with cheese or whatever. I don't remember what he's like offering him food. Which is good. And then the other stuff was like a lot of the like effects, but it's just the stuff they're doing with the cars. Like when the fucking car door comes off, it's like they fucking cut that door off that car. Totally. Or like there's a bit where it like the joke is the car like stops short right in front of a guy, but like, and he's standing right behind another car, and you can see the dude like take a breath after it happens. It's like, goddamn, they just fucking did that.
There's another one where one of the dudes grabs onto the car and it drives off with him attached to it.
Yeah.
You can tell that they literally just... So he utilizes speeding up tape to make things look like they're moving faster than they are.
Yeah.
But that dude definitely still grabbed a moving car and it drug him along on his feet for some distance to get that shot. The amount of like... Watching specifically all the car stuff, actually, watching all of that made me think there's no way you do this in like even a year after they filmed this or whatever. This is so fucked.
Yeah, I know. There's so much stuff you're like, that is so dangerous. Holy shit.
Like when you think about how there's freak accidents of like a dude getting decapitated or whatever by a helicopter or like a piece of lead that was stuck in a prop gun killing Brandon Lee or shit like this that happens with safety checks, and then you have dumbasses like this doing what they're doing and nobody got hurt. It's super unfair to think about. But this is also where we get Bruce Campbell as the cop. I really like that he's on his little 10-speed bike, and the gag of him being hit by the car during the car chase, so they just attach the bike to the like fender and have him on it as they drive seems super dangerous, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot,
it's
like
a weird
there
thing.
are like a couple times where someone is like definitely on a car and it drives away and they like tumble off.
It's super dangerous. Also, Ted Raimi just being this like nerdy kid playing the same 3 notes over and over on his cello or whatever. Just the annoying kid character with the glasses.
That smile, dude, it's fucking haunting. It's like the best acting Ted Raimi ever did. Most memorable.
It's not saying much, but yes. Poor Ted Raimi.
He's fine, but that smile will haunt me. Yeah.
But you're right. The gag where his twin, he was dressed up as his twin brother.
He pulls off his face as a mask,
and
it's his face underneath. It's like parody Scooby-Doo shit.
So that part, like... Man, I almost pissed myself laughing. It is so fucking stupid.
It's like, and I'm not blind at all. I just can't see out of this eye. I'm blind in one eye and can't see out of the other.
Yeah. And even like the detective's like, so wait, you disguised yourself as your twin brother? It's so good.
And he pulls out a gun and it's pointed at himself. The inspector turns it around, but it like is a step to the side while he fucking monologues at the end.
I don't even know who she is, but there's like a woman character in here that is like trying to kill him, but the gun is empty. So then she does this whole like, let's run away together, get married, and then get divorced. And I laughed really hard at that. I thought that was great. Yeah, man, this is the type of thing that I would totally buy a Blu-ray of because it is an artifact that belongs in a museum, even though it's not very good.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. They have Sam Raimi fall down a set of stairs in a wheelchair. Because comedy.
Yeah, and he gets hit in the head with a tennis ball and falls backwards out of his wheelchair.
Yeah. So this laid the ground. This is kind of the introduction to Sam Raimi's type of humor, but let's talk about the introduction to the fucked up side, I'll call it, of Sam Raimi.
Hell yeah.
So Within the Woods is a short horror film that came out a year after in Halloween of 1978. And it is what kind of sparked the Evil Dead to be a thing that came later.
I think they basically made it so that they could show investors to try and get money to then make the Evil Dead.
They made it as a proof of concept. Yep.
Yeah.
So in this one, it's just a 4-person cast. Everybody is playing not themselves, but they have their own names. So Ellen Sandelweis and Bruce Campbell are Bruce and Ellen. Scott Spiegel is Scotty or Scott, and Mary Valentini is Mary in this. Go figure. And it is just a small film of a group of friends in a cabin just kind of outside of the woods, hanging out. 2 of them are playing Monopoly, and 2 of them are about to go out for a picnic. And of course, this is like an ancient Indian burial ground here, because of course it is. But everything should be fine because they're just having hot dogs and they're not going to desecrate the grave. So the first thing that Bruce does is accidentally desecrate a grave.
He just starts
trying
digging.
to make a fire pit. Yeah.
Like,
Finds a knife, a like sacrificial dagger type knife, like a just a fucking weird Indian blade. And yeah, that's kind of the last we see of him. My first thought was, wow, it's weird seeing young Bruce Campbell, and wow, those glasses. Crazy. Those are some crazy ass glasses that he wears. It kind of cuts back to the other 2, Scott and Mary, hanging out in the house. I can't remember what they're doing. I think they're like having a snack or something. It's nothing sexy or anything like that, but we needed a cutaway so that when we came back, we saw that Mary is now alone at the picnic site and has lost Bruce somewhere. She finds Bruce all fucked up and his face all like cut up and dead in the woods, and runs back, warning the other, or saying that no, she can't find Bruce at all yet, right? Or did she? I can't remember.
I think she did. I honestly couldn't quite tell because the quality was so bad at that part. I wasn't sure if she was seeing Bruce or not. I think she says she saw him, but
they don't believe her though.
Yeah, Scott's like,
whatever.
No, that can't be. I'll go find him or whatever.
Yeah, because he might be hurt. That's what was confusing me. It's like, why would Scott go if like she said he was dead? Just leave. But yeah, I mean, dumb camper things. Hashtag just dumb camper things.
Hashtag
so
simple
he
horror
leaves.
movie.
Yeah, simple horror movie. He leaves, and when he doesn't come back after a while. Oh no, sorry, her name is Shelley. For some reason they did change Mary's name. I just didn't hear it at any point because Shelley goes out to walk for them, and Bruce shows up and kills her.
Yeah, she just steps out the door and he's right there.
Yeah. That was the start of actually like a super I found this really creepy, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I've seen a lot of horror stuff. I found this kind of disturbing, this whole part. It was good. It was well done. The way she's like about to leave or walking out and he just shows up there is fucking terrifying. Stabs her in the neck with the dagger, with the Indian dagger, and the voiceover effects saying like join us or whatever and being all creepy, super dope. They use this later on, obviously, but a lot. Yeah, super works. Ellen closes the door on him, runs to get some knives to like protect herself, hears that someone's coming up or whatever, and just stabs as the door opens And lo and behold, it was Scott.
Classic.
Classic. So she stabs him right in the stomach. As he's dying, he says, like, go to the cellar. And we find out that there's a gun there. She trips and fucks herself up doing it, finds the gun, and when she comes back upstairs, Scott is, like, completely fucking destroyed now. Like, he's been completely annihilated. Where she stabbed him and he was still dying, he's completely dead here.
Yeah.
And Bruce attacks him, but she cuts his hand off. So there is something wrong with Raimi and hands. He hates hands. And I don't understand the fact that, like, Bruce Campbell's hand keeps getting fucked up in his movies is kind of hilarious to me. I wasn't paying attention if it's the same hand, but I'm assuming it is because he was holding the dagger, and I think he's right-handed.
No,
so.
Bruce is left-handed. Which is why he wanted. I've heard him say in interviews he wanted them to cut off his right hand so he could still do stuff with his left.
Oh, that makes sense. Sure. Okay, so yeah, it must be his left. It's whatever hand was holding the knife or the dagger.
Yeah, it's his right. It's his right hand. She cuts off.
Okay, cool. She cuts off his hand. She gets beaten up by him because he's still a dude first and foremost, but also possessed by something. She picks up his mutilated hand that's still holding the dagger and stabs him with it, which is just great. Seeing the, like, disgusting hand, him, like, ripping it off because there's, like, still it's
he has to, like, fucking
attached.
bite it.
Oh man. Man, it's so fucking gross. And then we get the classic Raimi blood and guts shot of it. Like, there's just blood everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of good fake blood.
Yeah,
I really liked the makeup on Bruce Campbell's fucked up face at the end.
He had when he came back, he had, like, it's hard to see, but one of his eyeballs is hanging from, like, the stem outside of his eye. The other one seems fine for what that's worth, but cuts on his face and stuff. Very, very cool. Good makeup for sure. She mutilates his body with an axe, and she's just kind of, like, in the worst amount of shock, just muttering to herself, when all of a sudden the corpse of Scotty springs up and the screen cuts to black.
Good shit.
Good shit. Yeah, super good. Half an hour runtime, not long at all, half the time of the first one, and definitely flexing. You can tell that this was taken seriously, and it makes sense because it being a proof of concept for investors, they had to, like, try to make something, like, show that they can make something with money.
Yeah, and there are a lot of like the core ideas in Evil Dead are here, in terms of, like Shelly gets chased by the camera. That's in this. Yep. That whole or like where it, like, approaches the house and then slowly backs away when she gets inside. That whole thing.
Yep. The like way the trees and stuff look with their branches everywhere, super menacing. And, like, when she's looking, finds Bruce's body.
Yeah. Like,
just
having to go into the basement and stepping on that one step that breaks.
Yep. Yeah, no, there's a lot of seeds planted here, for sure. Also, it seems smart to not give in to the attempt to do the Evil Dead 2 thing and start being, like, slapsticky and silly in there. You, like, this needed to be serious, and it is dead serious. There's not, like, really a joke. There's, like, a little bit of one, maybe. There shows a shot of, like, the Monopoly board at some point, but, like, it's not even a thing
I'm glad he made It's Murder to get some of that out of his system first before doing this.
Totally. Yeah. It's some of it.
Yeah.
Like an hour.
Like, it comes back, but, you know, in the
it
woods,
does, yeah.
It's not
and more
it's
hung.
not a it's not a pun factory or anything. We weren't cracking jokes all the time.
Totally, yeah. Just some, like, quick facts about some stuff. So It's Murder was filmed or made with $2,000 apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just much is I just want to get a kind of idea here. So $2,000 in 1977 is about the purchasing power of 9.5 thousand today, with inflation or whatever. Just, I kind of like giving that type of info. So I can't imagine it taking almost $10,000 to make what they did, until you realize they ruined a car, at least one car. They probably had to pay there's a few shots in like public, I'm sure they had to pay somebody off for, or get a permit for.
In the 70s, I'm more skeptical they had to pay for that, but
Yeah, maybe for gear though. I don't know if they had to like rent anything, or if they used school gear or what there. Conversely, on the other side of things, Within the Woods, half the time, definitely more thought out or whatever, was 1,600 in 1978. So I don't even think I need to Google this one because it's probably close. But yeah, 7.6 thousand today. That seems more. I don't understand where that went. That money, maybe to rent the cabin was like 1,000 or something. But other than that, I guess just paying. I guess you have to pay your people, right?
Yeah.
Order a pizza for them or something. Keep them interested.
Gotta pay for all those
I don't know.
blood effects.
Yeah, exactly.
All that ketchup.
If nothing else, these are cool artifacts from a lost time that you definitely don't need to see either of them.
Totally.
But Within the Woods is pretty easy to find because it was released as a bootleg or whatever. And of course, because of that, people have released it on the internet. And I even like found a version that was kind of cleaned up digitally by some video people
that's
or whatever.
That's what I watched too.
Yeah, so you can find watchable versions, at least of Within the Woods. Its murder is on YouTube. It's the most accessible one, but I don't necessarily think you need to watch it.
No,
especially
and it
because,
doesn't have like the thing that Within the Woods has of like, oh, this is Evil Dead, like literally right here, he's doing it.
Yeah.
Its murder is way less like connected directly to anything like that.
Totally. The basic setup of like Indian burial stuff, the possession stuff with the hand, like there's a lot of really integral things that are introduced here. And yeah, just the way it's kind of done too was kind of cool. A bunch of kids wanted to make a movie, so they put some money together, filmed a short horror film. They convinced the local theater to run it alongside Rocky Horror Picture Show, and it kind of got people talking about it, and that's what led to The Evil Dead being a thing, which led to, I mean, if nothing else, Sam Raimi's disgustingly huge career, and the rest of them obviously did pretty well as well.
Totally.
Yeah, it's super cool. The thing I like about Sam Raimi too, this is going to be kind of shitting a little bit on another person, which is not something I want to necessarily do, but in the groups of directors who involve their friends and everything, I like what he's done more than Kevin Smith. And they kind of had the same track record of coming up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just the same idea of like, dude had a vision, put everything he had into getting that one thing out. The one thing blew up, and he like kept his friends going in it. Only it's fun when Sam Raimi did it, and a little sad when Kevin Smith did it over and over again. At least that's my opinion. But yeah, this is a start of all that. We're going to be talking about The Evil Dead next time, though. The classic 81 one, which is called The Evil Dead, just as a slight. If we say Evil Dead, it's actually the 2013 one because there's no the.
Yeah.
Important distinction to make, I suppose. I was thinking, I haven't rewatched it in a while, and I'm assuming you haven't either.
It's been like a few years, but not super long since I watched it.
Okay, let's discuss what do you remember about it? Is there anything
the effects at the finale are like the thing that sticks in my brain the strongest.
Okay. Yeah. I feel bad saying this. It's the tree rape part because that part is so outlandishly weird that that part is hard to overlook.
Yep.
And like hard to forget. And not in a great way, I will say. It's a pretty hard one to overlook. But yeah, I'm excited to go back to it. It's an important movie in my childhood because it was one of the ones that kind of like paved the path of me looking into this, like into horror movies just in general. I don't know why. I guess it was like my friend rented it and I went to his house and we kind of watched it, and it like was that moment, that moment that like in TV shows and stuff where somebody's mind gets opened for the first time and everything's like psychedelic or something, and like they're just like sitting there mouth agape. Evil Dead was like that for me. Sure. Basically, and it was kind of the first thing that is like we learned about how it was made and stuff, and we started writing like a script about like some like horror thing, and we're like making plans. We learned how to make fake glass and blood and made buckets of it. It rotted and became disgusting, so we had to throw it out soon thereafter. Yeah, we got super into this idea of just like low budget filmmaking, and it's like a super important part of my movie going stuff, even though I don't watch it over and over or anything. It was just kind of the catalyst for a lot of things.
Sure.
So I'm excited to go back to it and see how that stuff holds up, because it's been a while for me. I think the last time I watched it was with a group of friends I didn't particularly like after doing some mushrooms and having the weirdest trip of my life.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was not a good trip. It was real bad. It was, yeah. That was a bad time. But again, even back then, the part that stuck out was, oh shit, that tree. What's that tree do?
That tree should not be doing that.
That tree should not be doing that, no. I'm excited to do all of them in general.
Hell yeah.
But there's something important about the first one to me, especially because I like the horror stuff more than the slapstick. Like, for me, it's always going to be The Evil Dead over Army of Darkness, even though most of the world disagrees with me, and that's fine. It just is that way for me. But, yeah. Do you have anything else you want to discuss about this or the upcoming, I guess, thing we're going to be doing for the next little foreseeable future?
No, I'm excited. Sam Raimi's direction is like, I think, really good. He makes movies I find very entertaining, and finds creative ways to shoot them in a way that's unique. So,
yeah, just the way he is obsessed with like how things are visually. That must be from the slapstick upbringing of like it has to elicit some sort of like response by you seeing it. It can't just be written. And I think that just kind of follows all the stuff that are uniquely him are that stuff. Again, in Spider-Man 2, there's like a moment where the nurse is like being pulled under a table when Doc Ock is going crazy, and she like scratches the floor or whatever. Like, it's so Sam Raimi, and you can just see his influences in everything he touches, except for the stuff where he just directs for a paycheck. And
Yeah, like when he does this horror stuff, like the joy in his filmmaking, like comes
you can
through
feel
so
it.
strong.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's the
and it
the
makes
biggest
me
thing.
like it.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to start. So thank you for listening. And if you want to follow along, next time we will be watching The Evil Dead. Find it whichever way you can, I guess. The original 1981. Is it 81 or 82? 81 classic. So we'll see you then.
Peace.